You can certainly manage and maintain internal contacts using the BigWave web interface. However, if you have a larger number of contacts to manage, importing those changes from an Excel spreadsheet is faster and easier. In this video, I show how to manage larger numbers of contacts using Excel imports. Using imports, you can quickly initialize or modify existing contact records, skipping manual data entry. This includes deleting contacts and deleting logins. Let's take a look. Open the Setup area, Import/Export Center. The History tab will have a permanent copy of all imports or exports ever done. You can download and examine the files by clicking this link. For imports, you can view the resultant feedback file by clicking this link. This is helpful if you do an import and lose track of the feedback file but need to refer back to it for whatever reason. Click the Import tab to start a new import. The first step is to upload an Excel file. You may have an Excel file already, but if you're starting from scratch and just need to know the available fields, you may download a blank template like this. Let's see what's in this template. All possible column headers are supplied, so all you need to do is fill out the spreadsheet using one row for each contact. Only last name is required. This time, however, I'm going to start with a different spreadsheet. The spreadsheet is very simple with minimal column headers. BigWave does require column headers and one contact per row, but you don't need to provide all the column headers for each import. For clarity, in this example, I'm only importing 3 contacts, and only one will be assigned a login. Later, we will come back and assign a login to the second contact via import, just so you can see how multiple imports can be done over and over again as needed. Finally, the third contact, Corey Morgan, you can see already exists in our list of contacts. You will see what happens when this duplicate is inadvertently uploaded. For any import done in BigWave, you will always get back a feedback document that shows exactly what happened during each import. I choose and upload my spreadsheet. Now that the spreadsheet is uploaded, I am warned to export my data first so I have a backup. This is probably always a good idea, so I will now export a snapshot of the current internal contacts data. Click Export, choose Company Contacts, and click the button. If mistakes are made during the import, I can always roll back any changes by importing this backup Excel file. Keep in mind, BigWave does a lot to keep you from making a mistake, so you are likely safe, but it's just a good precaution. Notice the export we just did is also available via the History tab. So if I lose track of my exported backup, I can always get back to it here. Back to the import, my imported file is still loaded and ready to go. I choose to import company contacts and keep the Upload New Contacts action since we are uploading new contacts. Make sure you choose the correct sheet. Your data is typically going to be in the first sheet of your Excel file, but you can select another if this is not the case. The fields available for uploading new contacts are now displayed. You can see that many of the fields from my spreadsheet are automatically mapped since the column header text matches what BigWave was expecting. However, I see the username field is not mapped. This is because my spreadsheet used login name instead. This is fine. Just choose login name from the drop-down to map the username field. Notice the little icons next to the auto map fields. Maybe I didn't mean to import login information for this import, so I can remove this mapping by choosing the Not Mapped option, or clicking the X. If I don't like any of the auto mappings and I want to start over, I would click Remove Mappings and then manually map the fields. Or I can change my mind again and choose Auto Map Fields to remap everything back to the way it was. Once I'm happy with the field mappings, I choose Import Worksheet. We get to a final step 4 that shows the result of the import. In this case, 3 rows were processed, 2 were imported, and 1 was not imported. A feedback file is provided for every import. If you see any errors or warnings, you will find the issues in the feedback file. Let's look at the contents of that. With the feedback file opened, I can see the first 2 contacts were created and Joe Smith had a login assigned. Also, it found Corey Morgan already exists in our contacts list, so it was not imported. The message advises if you want to update the existing Corey Morgan record with different information, then the update option during the import must be chosen instead. We will use this option here shortly. Looking now at our contacts list, you can see the new entries for Joe and Dave. Joe has a login assigned, while Dave does not. Let's fix that for Dave. We can certainly manually add a login for Dave, but let's do it using an import instead. I adjust my spreadsheet to include login information for Dave. I don't want to import these other two again, so I will delete them and re-import the new file. This time we are not uploading new contacts. Rather, we need to update an existing contact, so choose this option. If you forget, no biggie, as the import will fail anyway, just like it did with Corey Morgan earlier. One row is successfully imported. And now you can see Dave has a login. Now let's assume we created these logins by mistake. You can certainly delete the two logins manually, but let's see how an import can be used instead. For example, if you need to delete a bunch of logins, this is faster than the manual way. I will add a column to my spreadsheet called Delete. I will put a 1 in the delete column for each login I want to delete. Import this spreadsheet again and now choose the Update option. This time we will map the Delete Login field to the Delete column just created. Upload the spreadsheet and look at the feedback file. Notice the feedback indicates the logins were deleted. And if we look at our contacts, you can see Joe and Dave no longer have logins. Lastly, when we look at the import-export history, you will see a row for each import done, and can download each imported file and resultant feedback file. This video has showed the various ways to manage contacts via import. As always, if you have any questions, please email us at support@bigwavesoftware.com.